Oops, that's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, we can't do anything right now because of the internet.
Okay, well, we can't do anything right now because of the internet. I mean, first of all, if you have Dropbox on your computer, you have a lot of stuff in there, but that's fine. I understand. Let's chat for the remaining chunk of class here. I think I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about cognition and personality type and stuff, because I was talking with Brandon outside about it a little bit. I was talking with Lila a little bit. Brandon was asking me what type I think he is. I told him I think he's an INTP, but I also think Edmund's an INTP. But Edmund displays a lot more extroverted than Brandon does now, right? You guys remember how Edmund used to be? He used to be very quiet. Now he's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you, debate.
ENTP? Is he not?
No, he's an INTP. He's just an INTP who's highly empowered at the moment. And that's the thing. Look, how your personality type displays is going to be dependent on how empowered you feel. And your personality is going to deal with, different personality types deal with failure differently. Different personality types deal with the process differently, which means of going from beginning to end of learning something or accomplishing something differently. And different personality types deal with success differently. Edmund, you should listen to this. Just put your phone down. You guys should close your laptops. Listen to my words of wisdom.
I'm trying to write song lyrics right now.
That's fine. You do what you're doing. All right, so look. So the thing about this cognitive function thing, I want you guys to understand, Edmund, can you put your phone away, is that it is not a description of stuff in your brain, right? It's not a description of, oh, I have introverted thinking as my dominant function, therefore I've got a big chunk of brain that's that. It doesn't work like that. Instead, it's a reality that individual human beings can attend to things through a variety of frameworks, and that people value things accordingly. So if I'm complaining a lot about how somebody was rude, then I am expressing a value of extroverted feeling. It doesn't matter whether the guy was saying the truth or the falsehood or whatever. It just matters that he was saying it in a way that hurt feelings, or he was saying it in a way that didn't display respect towards others. The content of what he says is irrelevant to me. I'm just concerned about his tone. We know he's a bad guy because he was yelling at those people. That's extroverted feeling. You're looking at it through that perspective. Some people won't, as their first default thing, will not look at all about what is being said, but rather how it's being said. So be prepared to encounter such people in the world. You may be one yourself. By nature, debate should hopefully cure you of that. If you are somebody who's constantly looking to the consistency of something to a model within yourself. So you're saying, I think that behavior is probably bad because I have this rights model in my head, and I'm referencing it. I'm seeing that it's a rights violation, and you shouldn't do that. It wasn't fair because X, Y, and Z. Then you are probably an introverted thinker. And that means that you're going to have your sense of right and wrong determined by logic rather than your feelings. If you are spending time thinking about your schedule and thinking about what you should be doing next and checking things off the list and making sure you've gotten all your homework turned in and stuff like that, you're using something called introverted sensing, where you're keeping track of yourself as a being that moves through time. You're paying attention to your scheduling. You're paying attention to your little objects like your wallet and your keys and your glasses and stuff. If you're constantly losing your little objects, you have poor introverted sensing. Okay? Justin, you have poor introverted sensing.
I do?
Yes. I can tell you do because you have extroverted intuition somewhere high in the stack, I think, or perhaps extroverted sensing. I'm not entirely sure. You are a restless mind and a restless body. And, so am I. I'm a restless mind and a restless body too. Alan is a restless mind and a restless body. But we have different kinds of restlessness. Alan is mostly a restless body. And his mind is restless because his body's restless, not the other way around. Justin's body's restless because his mind is restless, like me. It's a matter of the difference between ES. Hey, Alan, shut up. It's a matter of ES. You're ES of some sort. Okay, ESFP, ESTP. One of the two, Alan. Justin, I think you're an ENFP. And that means that you, like me, have extroverted intuition in the dominant slot. It's a bumpy horse to ride. Trevor, you're some kind of an introvert. Trevor, I think you're probably maybe like an ISTJ. Well, look it up on the internet later. ISTJ, write it down, 4 letters. ISTJ. Censor. You're an S too. Zaid, you're either an INTJ.
Yeah, I'm an INTJ.
Oh, okay, then you are. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you're an INTJ.
They probably.
Yeah, that makes sense. See, Zay's become one of the best debaters, and he was slow getting good. It's like they learn differently than INTPs and ENTPs. But last year's national champion was an INTJ. They do a better job with cumulative skill than NTPs, and they develop a sort of a like that. It's a different kind of thinking. Anyway, Ming Yu, you are possibly an ISTP, I think, which also means introverted thinking in the dominant slot. But unlike followed up with an N, it means you're much more concrete and practical in your thinking. You want to learn the system, the way to do it, and then execute that system, that way of doing it, rather than learning a system that you might want to use and then find another one that maybe is good and another one that maybe is good. You want to find the single best way to do things. I'm guessing when you play video games, you're not looking for new angles of ways of doing things. You're more looking for finally getting perfect the method you've used to do something. That's my guess. Goodbye, Zaid. Now listen, I want you to remember something tonight. I want you to eat some cheese, okay? All right. Otherwise, you'll never grow up big and strong.
I actually had a lot of cheese and I got really sick. I took it to a balloon.
Okay, well, that's okay. I'm okay with that kind of mistake. If you do make that mistake, that's the good kind of mistake to make. You ate too much cheese. It's hard to do. And if you're going to err on one side or the other, definitely err on the side of too much cheese. Eat so much cheese that you can't fit anymore because it's coming out of your mouth.
Oh, God.
Just okay. So personality types again. Philip. Philip is
I think he's extroverted actually.
He's an E.
no. I think he's an. I think he's an I.
Cause like.
Do you consider yourself an extrovert or an introvert?
He's a weirdo.
Like, do you talk more to other, like, do you voice your own opinion, or do you, like, think about it systematically, like, whether what you're saying is correct or not? Or, like, do you feel like you say it on your gut, on what your first reaction, yeah?
Would you rather watch a play or be in a play?
Be in a play.
Do you like being the center of attention? If you have a good reason to be?
Yeah.
Okay. I suspect you're probably.
I think he's an E.
I think he's an ESTJ.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Like my dad. My dad's an ESTJ. You're my dad, Philip. Hi, Dad. All ESTJs are my father. How could you have so many fathers, Eric?
I got it from my dad.
Well, a little bit of genetic material from each of them, all mixed together.
I'm pretty sure that was a movie, or like he was the father of like 5 billion children, and like he had to talk to all of them at once. It was horrible.
Are you guys familiar with Shoddy Low? Shoddy Low is a rapper. Justin, he very well may be, because Shoddy Low has 11 children with 10 different baby mamas. 10 different women, 11 children. So one of the women has 2 of his kids, and then the other women each have 1. That's a lot of baby mamas, right? He's got 11 kids by 10 different women.
He could very well be you, but Justin's dad. You're not my dad.
You got some blood on your tooth, looks like, or something.
Oh, sweet.
Sweet bloody teeth. Oh, it might be a watermelon ring, actually, now that I think about it. I did bring watermelon. Hey, Edmund, what are you doing besides pissing me off? What are you doing? What's Trevor doing? I'm telling you, you guys are learning so much right now, and I see Trevor standing around like he's not learning anything. Trevor, I want you to learn about learning today. Do you guys know what introverted intuition is? If I show you 5 poems, how confident are you that you will be able to identify which of the 5 is the best poem?
Well, it depends on what you define as best.
Okay. So let's say you write 5 of your own poems. Are you confident that you would be able to tell which one of those poems you think is best?
Yes, definitely. Because it depends on whether and how I'm feeling, how I write. If I feel angry at something, I start writing in an angry tone.
It depends on the subject.
No,
It depends
for
on
me,
the poem because, like, there could be 4 poems that are absolutely horrible.
and in one poem that you just actually put effort in.
Okay. But look, that implies that there is such a thing as horrible, right? So you're saying, like, I do have some sort of aesthetic vision, even though we might not be able to prove that this poem is better than that poem. If I wrote 2 poems, I would like one of them better, and it would be for a reason, and I'd be right or wrong. Like, let's say I have 2 poems. One of them is a good poem, or at least a decent poem, and one of them is like, darkness, soul of death, bringer of something, and so forth. That's my poem. Now, that's actually a pretty good poem, but I could come up with an example, I'm sure, of a really, really bad poem that you don't like.
Hello, darkness, my friend.
All right, forget about poetry. Let's talk about songs. Songs instead. You write 5 songs. Now, let's talk about the melodies, okay? You're not even thinking about the words. Just like one of the songs you write, let's say these songs don't exist. One of them is Jingle Bells. You wrote that song. Dun, dun, dun,
Amazing.
dun, dun. I wrote a new song. I like this song I just wrote. It's great. And now another song that you just wrote was, let's say,
What was that song by 50 Cent? Or Nickelback, was it?
I don't know. Go shorty, it's your birthday, and you're gonna party like it's your birthday, and we don't give a fuck 'cause it's your birthday. That one? Those are 2 songs you wrote. Would you know which one of them you like better?
No.
Yeah.
How would you know?
I would know for me based on effort and based on because the way I think about it is it something that other people would find like they would enjoy, or is it something that only I would enjoy?
Are you saying, Lyle, that you would know for sure using your introverted intuition, and you check it with your extroverted feeling on how other people feel about it to confirm your introverted intuition? That would be because you, my friend, are an INFJ. None of these people said, yeah, I know, because there's a lot of extroverted intuition in the room. Zaid would have said that probably because he's an INTJ. He's also NI. But I think Brandon, Edmund, you guys are both NE like me. You guys are INTPs. I think that Mingyu, you have a 3rd slot NI, which means you're more algorithmic and less intuitive. More algorithmic, less intuitive. In other words, you can do things in 2 different ways. You can do things in a step-by-step process that achieves the goal, and you can learn that sort of step-by-step process. You can achieve things with you want to have an understanding of things that gives you a clear, consistent, logical model within yourself to understand how things work, but you want that to be the solution, okay? So that's the difference between a sensor and an intuitive. Intuitive don't necessarily want that to be the solution, even if it is the solution. So if you give Edmund the best way to do something, Edmund is likely to alter it and make it worse because he doesn't like the fact that he's not messing with it at all. His extroverted intuition is a messing with function. Justin will definitely mess with it. If you give Justin and I the best possible way to get from A to B, by the time we're done with it, we will have visited Z, T, H, P, Q, and everything in between. So that's why extroverted intuition is sloppy, kind of, in a way. And introverted intuition is much more lean, as you guys both have introverted intuition. He has it as a dominant function. So it's about simple truths, knowing the pure simple truths versus seeing what you could change them into. Now, I also want to mention this, that for those of you who are S's, this is not, you will hear people say that intuitives are smarter. It is not true. You will hear people say that intuitives are better at debate. It is not necessarily the case. In general, the latter is true. Intuitives are better at debate. But you know what the best pairing is to get a strong sensor like Connie, who's an ES, I believe she's an ESFJ. And she's the first speaker for Edmund, Big Edmund, who's an ENTP. That's what you want. You want a pair that has a strong S as the first speaker and a strong N as the second speaker. So if you are an S, do not conclude that you are less well suited for debate. Conclude that you're intended to be a first speaker. Because first speakers can execute what they're supposed to be executing, they can learn what they're going to be executing, and do a better job than an intuitive who's going to go off the rails. Eric, you were supposed to read blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but they pissed me off. Right? That's what the problem with intuitives. So we all have a unique set of cognitive functions, and we can all utilize them to good effect. There are a couple of personality types who cannot succeed in debate, who simply cannot succeed in it. And I think probably number one on that list would be ISFJ. The reason ISFJ can't really succeed in debate is because they absolutely hate arguing. They don't like conflict of any sort.
Still wait, hon. I rarely like conflict. Like debate's my only out choice.
There's a difference between liking conflict and liking arguing. Now, they don't like arguing. They also don't like conflict. You don't like conflict, but you do like arguing.
Yeah.
So there's the difference. Now, Edmund, Philip already has, not Philip, Edmund, Alan already has a terrible, terrible disease. You're making his disease much, much worse. Edmund, you're making his disease much worse. What is this super important information? What's it about?
Alan.
Alan, come with your super important information. Come tell us. This boy.
Hey, Alan, come tell us
What is it, Edmund?
your super important information.
Edmund, what is it?
Tell us.
Come on, Alan.
Alan.
Show yourself.
What you got?
Alan. I discovered that my mom was my mom.
Well, at least he knows you're not adopted yet.
No, wait, Alan. Are you sure your mom is your mom, you say?
Yeah, unless she's my dad.
And what would her face be, Alan?
My mom's face?
Yeah, what would that be?
Oh, Asian.
Alien?
Asian.
Asian. Oh, Asian. So your mom's your mom, but your mom's face is Asian?
Yeah.
I see.
So she's a mom, not Asian.
Hard to say. She's a combination of many different things, I suppose. Intellectual,
Why am I in the thingy?
artist, athlete, Alan's mom. I'm gonna make a documentary called Alan's Mom. It's gonna be titled Intellectual, Artist, Athlete, Alan's Mom. Would your mom like that, Alan? What? Are we filming each other?
Yeah.
Hi, Alan. Am I gonna be on Alan's YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. I'm excited to see it.
You're gonna be famous today.
Thank God. I've been waiting for such a long time.
Wait, Mr. Strauss? Wait, so I'm on ESTP, right?
Hey, he violated
No,
my
I don't,
privacy.
I don't think you're an ESTP.
I'm in
I think you're an ISTP.
Yo, I'll invite you if you.
You'd rather be an ISTP than an ESTP.
No, it's something. I told her what.
Actually, no, I think I'm an INTP,
Dude, Alan.
like,
You might be.
yeah, cause I never run what Grace says. I always run some other stuff when I'm something stupid.
Dude, that was no.
Well, you are quite contrary, Mingyu. I forgot. But see, the thing is, if you were an ENTP, you'd be contrary better. You wouldn't be contrary to say, no, Grace, let's not run the good argument. Let's run the dumb argument, which is what you currently are doing. Right? So that's the problem, Mingyu. It's like, I appreciate your contrariness, but you kind of have to be right. You know?
Hold on, wait, am I INFJ for sure, Strauss?
I'm pretty convinced. I'm convinced for multiple reasons. One, that took me a year to figure out what you were. That's a big factor in it too, because I can never figure out INFJs. When it finally dawned on me the other day, it was like, well, my introverted intuition said, aha, the truth, here it is. You know what else is the truth? It's time to go home. We got a good solid half of the time put into work today, so that's not bad. Have a good evening, everybody. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese, otherwise everyone dies.